24 hours a day just doesn't feel like enough time. I know exactly how that feels. But the issue isn't time itself. It's how we use it until it slowly just drifts away until the day is all of a sudden just over. Today, I'll help you visualize your time, take back control of your day, and realize you have more time than you think to do the things that actually matter in your life. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna walk you through a typical 7-day week using a super simple Excel calendar, and then show you how to build a better version of it. This is part of what I call my productive AF system, a realistic, flexible way to get clear on how you're actually using your time so you can start designing your days around what matters most. I just wanna help you see exactly where your time's going so you can take better control of your days and your week. All right, so let's start with what most people's days actually look like, the basics. So you'll see here that we have two different ugly colors, an ugly red and an ugly green. The ugly red is basically the things that you have to do, work and sleep. You sleep 8 hours a night, which I know is a lot for some people, but that's 56 hours, which I have down here. And then you have work, which is 40 hours a week. On a typical Monday through Friday, you'll sleep, you wake up, you snooze at Instagram for an hour in bed, you have breakfast, shower, commute for an hour, you work, you commute and then sit on the couch, you make dinner, you watch TV for a couple hours, scroll Instagram endlessly, and then you go to sleep around 11 p.m. That's Monday through Friday. It's a typical day. Saturdays and Sundays a little bit different. You sleep an extra hour, you snooze and go on Instagram, you watch TV and make breakfast, you watch more TV, you talk about the day and scroll Instagram, you do a couple hours of errands, then you may eat lunch and hang out, you may take a nap, watch TV. Let's say you go out to dinner on Saturday, that's nice. A few hours of watching TV at night, scroll Instagram, go to sleep. Pretty similar on Saturday and Sunday. A little bit more errands, clean up the house. But again, very similar things. You're noticing a similar theme here, right? Social media, 12 and a half hours with this schedule. Watching TV, 15 and a half hours. You can go on your phone right now and you can see how much social media that you're using on a daily basis. I guarantee it's 12 and a half hours or more. This is probably light for what you actually do, but it's just to go over the fact that all of this time when you say you don't have time, you actually do, and it's just taken up by little things that you don't plan. They're like time wasters and time suckers. TV and Instagram and social media are the biggest. I love Instagram and I love watching TV, but I just want to call out that they're extreme time suckers as we go into the time-rich day, which is the next thing here. All these add up so fast, but it's not really the whole picture. And what I want to focus on is this green area, okay? All this green area is flex time. This is time outside of working and sleeping that you can do whatever you want. This adds up to 67 hours during the week. 67 hours of time that you can do anything you want. So you didn't really waste the day, right? You worked, you slept, you did things, but you didn't really own the day either. And that's the trap a lot of people live in. They're being busy, but they're not getting better or doing the things that they really love or want to do. You were busy, but maybe not with the right things or the things that you would choose on your own. When you wake up, I guarantee you don't choose, I'm going to spend all of my free time watching TV and scrolling Instagram and doing nothing that I want to do. Maybe some of that, right? Because it's enjoyable. We need some of that. But you wouldn't just plan that out. All week, I'm going to spend 40 hours a week on Instagram and watching TV. You know, we just do it. So let's flip that. Now we're going to rebuild this day, but we're going to do it with intention and not perfection. So the first thing you do, like we did before, start with your non-negotiables, work and sleep. These are the things that are locked in no matter what. Technically, they're not no matter what. We'll talk to that in a little bit. But right now, for the sake of it, let's say you need 8 hours of sleep and your work schedule cannot be adjusted. So we fill that in. That adds up again to 56 hours of sleep and 40 hours of work per week. So this means you still have plenty of flex time during your days. During a typical weekday, look at how many hours you got. So what is that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a day of flex time. And this is 8, 24, 16 hours of flex time. And flex time, again, is means you could fill it with whatever you want. You can doom scroll, you can watch TV, you can run errands, you can start a business. This is your choice. And this is why I call it a time-rich day. So let's pretend that these are things that you want to do. Let's pretend that you want to go to the gym 5 days a week. So when you come in here, again, you easily just type gym. And if you're efficient at it, you just go and you work out and you leave, you can do this in an hour. So 5 hours. Let's say you want to have family time and breakfast together. So let's say family/breakfast. You really want to prioritize not just having breakfast and leaving really quickly, but having an hour. So there's your hour. Let's pretend you want to do the same thing for dinner. So let's say family dinner. That says family dinner, an hour. Then the family time evening, right? I don't know how old your kids are or if it's just your spouse, but let's just say you want to have 2 hours of that. You can have 2 hours of that very easily. You see what you're doing now? You're filling in what you want to do first. And whatever you don't have to fill in is anything. So let's just say, this hour, don't fill it in, right? This can be for watching TV or going on Instagram or anything. Let's say your dinner stops early. You have more time for family time or going on Instagram. You don't have to have every filled in. Again, you're not a robot. Again, maybe you don't fill in up here because you like snoozing or going on Instagram. These are just filling in the things that you really want to do. Same thing here. So you want to do the same thing with family and breakfast. So you can kind of cross here on the weekends. Maybe you don't want to go to the gym on weekends, but you still want to have family dinners, except maybe Saturday, you all want to go out to dinner. So you're like dinner out. And you're putting in what you have to do. Let's say after that, you want to run errands for 2 hours. That's perfectly okay. You can do that on Saturday. Even if it's 4 hours of errands, just get it done. And if that's all you have right now, you have all this time that maybe you want to plan a trip. You want to play games with the kids. You want to bring them to practice. And the whole point here is that you have so many hours. Okay? You have 72 hours of flex time during the week, and you can make this whatever you want. When you start with your canvas and you start putting in your days and your weeks, then you have intention behind your schedule. You have so much time to do whatever you want. You have so much time to start a business. You have so much time to do the things you want. And again, you can still schedule in time where you can hang out with everybody. But in general, you can just plan it however you want. So flex time is the time that people say they don't have. But once you lay it out, it's all right there and you do have time for it. You don't need to be a robot. You don't need to have a perfect routine every day or a full schedule every day and every week. This is just to show you that you have more time than you think, okay? And you have a default structure that helps you deviate with intention. So if your structure is I need this much sleep and this is my work schedule, these are my non-negotiables, everything else is whatever you want to make it on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. If you think about it beforehand, if you think about your day in the morning, you can be intentional with it. Think about your week as it gets started, you could be intentional. If you just take a second to look at it, you'll fill it up with things that you want to do. And as long as you keep looking at it, you'll fill in the space around it with things that you don't care about, like watching TV and Instagram, which is great. You still get done the things that you want to do and need to do. The truth is, most of us don't need more time. We just need to see our time differently. That's really, really important. The next time you think, I don't have more time, you have enough time to do anything you want. You're just not prioritizing it or giving it as much attention as you want. If you don't need 8 hours of sleep a night, you are fine with 7 hours, you have an extra hour a day times 7, that's 7 extra hours a week. Let's say you have a project that's due the next day, cut out 3 hours of sleep that next night and make it up the next one. So you have the flexibility that you can move it however you want because you're an adult. You can do whatever you want. Once you get clear on where your time is going and what actually matters to you, then everything will change. You can stop reacting and then you can start designing your weeks around what you want to do. And then this is where the magic is, where you stop surviving your schedule and say, I don't have enough time to do everything. But you start realizing you do. You're just saying no to other things you don't want to do or prioritizing those things that you do want to do. If this helped you see your time in a new way, and this is just one part of the bigger picture, it's what I call the productive AF system, where I break down simple ways to take back control of your time, energy, and your schedule. In the next video, I'm actually going to show you how I use this method to build my weekly schedule, real non-negotiables, my real schedule, how I do it for the week, and how I think about the time that I have for what I want to do. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you there. Thanks.